Hi aspirants, welcome to a new lecture. In this lecture number 25, I will discuss the multiple choice questions, that is MCQ, on greenhouse effect and climate change, which is relevant for UPSC Civil Services Prelims Examination 2021. Do tune in as we upload subsequent videos on various topics related to Prelims Examination 2021. For your kind information, UPSC Civil Services Prelims Examination has been rescheduled and will be held on 10th October 2021. All the multiple choice questions, that is MCQs, are displayed as slide text on our videos. A brief explanation of the answer is provided for most of the MCQs discussed in this video, which will help the aspirants prepare for Civil Service Prelims Examination 2021 to be held on 10th October 2021. Now, we need to understand what do we mean by greenhouse gases, greenhouse effect. First, greenhouse gases. Greenhouse gases include carbon dioxide, water vapor, methane, ozone, nitrous oxide, and fluorinated gases. These molecules in our atmosphere are called greenhouse gases because they absorb heat. Thus, greenhouse gases trap heat within the surface troposphere system. This is called the greenhouse effect. Greenhouse gases are gases that can trap heat. They get their name from greenhouses. So what is a greenhouse? A greenhouse is full of windows that let in sunlight. That sunlight creates warmth. Now, who has discovered the greenhouse effect? Irish physicist John Tyndall is commonly credited with discovering the greenhouse effect, which underpins the science of climate change. Starting in 1859, he published a series of studies on the way greenhouse gases, including carbon dioxide, trapped heat in the Earth's atmosphere. Now, what do we mean by climate change? Climate change is periodic modification of Earth's climate brought about as a result of changes in the atmosphere, as well as interactions between the atmosphere and various other geologic, chemical, biological, and geographical factors within the Earth system. Now let us move to the question number 1. Which of the following conditions indicate the impact of global warming? Select the correct answer from the code given below. The choices are: first, melting of glaciers; second, rise in sea level; third, changes in weather conditions; fourth, rise in global temperature. Here we have to select the codes: A, 1 and 2 only; B, 1, 2 and 3; C, 2, 3 and 4; D, all of the above. This question has appeared in Civil Service Prelims Examination 2009. The answer is D, all of the above. That is, melting of glaciers; second, rise in sea level; third, changes in weather conditions; fourth, rise in global temperature. A brief explanation. All the aforementioned factors indicate the impact of global warming. The main gases responsible for global warming are water vapor, carbon dioxide, methane, and chlorofluorocarbon. Now let us move to the second question. The increasing impact of carbon dioxide in the air is slowly raising the temperature of the atmosphere because it absorbs: A, the water vapor of the air retains its heat; B, the ultraviolet part of the solar radiation; C, all the solar radiation; D, the infrared part of the solar radiation. This question appeared in Civil Service Prelims Examination 2012. The answer is D, that is the infrared part of the solar radiation. A brief explanation of this answer. The molecules of the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere can absorb 90% of the infrared radiation received from sun in the form of solar energy. The ability to absorb and re-emit infrared energy is what makes carbon dioxide effective heat-trapping greenhouse gas. Now let us move to the third question. Consider the following. First, rice field. Second, coal mining. Third, domestic animals. Fourth, wetland. Which of the above is a source of methane, a major green gas? The choices are A, 1 and 4, B, 2 and 3, C, 1, 2 and 3, D is 1, 2, 3 and 4. The answer is D, that is 1, 2, 3 and 4. That is rice field, coal mining, domestic animals, wetland. Rice fields, coal mines and domestic animals are human sources of methane emissions in the atmosphere, while wetlands and sea hydrate are natural sources of methane emission. Maximum 76% of the total methane emission from natural sources is emitted through the wetland only. Let us move to question number 4. What is greenhouse gas protocol? The choices are E. It is an international accounting tool for government and business leaders to understand, quantify and manage greenhouse gas emissions. B. It is an initiative of the United Nations to offer financial incentives to developing countries to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and to adopt eco-friendly technologies. C. It is an initiative C. It is an intergovernmental agreement ratified by the member countries of the United Nations to reduce greenhouse gas emissions to specified levels by the year 2022. D. It is one of the multilateral REDD plus initiatives hosted by the World Bank. This question appeared in Civil Services Examination 2016. Answer is A. That it is an international accounting tool for government and business leaders to understand, quantify and manage greenhouse gas emission. Now a brief explanation of greenhouse gas protocol. Greenhouse gas protocol establishes comprehensive global standardized frameworks to measure and manage greenhouse gas emissions from private and public sector operations, value chains and mitigation actions. Building on a 20-year partnership between World Resources Institute and the World Business Council for Sustainable Development, Greenhouse Gas Protocol works with governments, industry associations, NGOs, businesses and other organizations. Let us now move to question number 5. In the context of carbon dioxide emission and global warming, what is the name of a market-driven device under the United Nations Framework for Climate Change that allows developing countries to get funds and incentives from the developed countries to adopt better technologies that reduce greenhouse gas emissions? This question appeared in Civil Services Prelims Examination 2009. The choices are A. Carbon footprint, B. Carbon credit rating, C. Clean development mechanism, D. Emission reduction norm. The answer is C. That is clean development mechanism. A brief explanation. Carbon trading is an approach used to control carbon dioxide pollution by providing economic incentive for achieving emissions reductions. In the context of CO2 emission and global warming, clean development mechanism is the name of a market-driven device under the United Nations Framework for Climate Change that allows developing countries to get funds or incentives from the developed countries to adopt better technologies that reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Now let us move to the question number 6. Consider the following statements. First, clean development mechanism in respect of carbon credit in one of the Kyoto Protocol mechanism. Second, under the clean development mechanism, the projects handled pertain only to the Annex 1 countries. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? A. 1 only, B. 2 only, C. both 1 and 2, D. neither 1 nor 2. This question has appeared in Civil Services Examination 2008. The answer is A, that is 1 only. That is clean development mechanism in respect of carbon credit in one of the Kyoto Protocol mechanism. A brief explanation. The clean development mechanism defined in Article 12 of the protocol allows a country with an emission reduction or emission limitation commitment under the Kyoto Protocol to implement an emission reduction project in developing countries. Such projects can earn saleable certified emissions reduction credits, each equivalent to 1 ton of carbon dioxide, which can be counted towards meeting Kyoto target. Here, in the second part, Annex 1 parties are the countries listed in Annex 1 for the treaty, that is the industrialized countries. Non-Annex 1 parties are developing countries. Thus, projects under the Clean Development Mechanism are related to Annex 1 and non-Annex 1 countries. Let us move to question number 7. Which of the following statements best describe carbon fertilization? The choices are A. Increased plant growth due to increased concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. B. Increased temperature of Earth due to increased concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. C. Is increased acidity of oceans as a result of increased concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. D. Adaptation of all living beings on Earth to the climate change brought about by the increased concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. This question appeared in Civil Services Examination 2018. The answer is A, that is increased plant growth due to increased concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. A brief explanation of this answer. The carbon fertilization effects suggest that the increase of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere increases the rate of photosynthesis in plants. The effect varies depending on the plant species, the temperature, and the availability of water and nutrients. Let us move to question number 8. Biocarbon Fund Initiative for Sustainable Forest Landscape is managed by the following. A. Asian Development Bank. B. The International Monetary Fund. C. United Nations Environment Program. D. The World Bank. This question has appeared in Civil Services Prelims Examination 2015. The answer is D, that is the World Bank. A brief explanation of the answer. The Biocarbon Fund Initiative for Sustainable Forest Landscape is a multilateral fund supported by donor governments and managed by the World Bank. This fund seeks to promote a reduction in greenhouse gases from the land sector. Now let us move to question number 9. The United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change is an international treaty drawn at A. United Nations Conference on the Human Environment in Stockholm 1972. B. UN Conference on Environment and Development Rio de Janeiro 1992. C. World Summit on Sustainable Development Johannesburg 2002. D. UN Climate Change Conference Copenhagen 2009. This question appeared in CSE Prelims Examination 2009. The answer is B, that is UN Conference on Environment and Development Rio de Janeiro 1992. UNFCCC, that is United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, is an international environmental treaty adopted at the United Nations Conference on Environment and Development, formerly known as the Earth Summit, held in Rio from 3rd to 14th June 1992. Let us move to question number 10. The intended nationally determined contributions sometimes seen in news refers to A promise made by European countries for rehabilitation of refugees from Middle East. B. World Action Plan to deal with climate change. C. Equity shareholdings of member countries in ADB. This question has appeared in Civil Services Prelims Examination 2016. The answer is B, that is World Action Plan to deal with climate change. A brief explanation of this answer. Countries of the world adopted a historic international climate agreement at the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change Conference of Parties, that is COP21 in Paris in December 2015. Now let us move to question number 11. Which of the following statements regarding the Green Climate Fund is or are correct? The choices are: first, it is intended to assist the developing countries in adaptation and mitigation practices to counter climate change. Second, it is founded under the aegis of UNEP, OECD, Asian Development Bank, and World Bank. Select the correct answer using the codes given below. A. 1 only. B. 2 only. C. Both 1 and 2. D. Neither 1 nor 2. This question appeared in Civil Services Prelims Examination 2015. Answer is A. That is 1 only. That is, it is intended to assist the developing countries in adaptation and mitigation practices to counter climate change. A brief explanation of the answer. Green Climate Fund was founded as a mechanism to assist developing countries in adaptation and mitigation practices to counter climate change. The fund is governed by Green Climate Fund Board. The board consists of 24 members. Now let us move to question number 12. Which one of the following countries is the first country in the world to propose a carbon tax for its people to address global warming? A. Australia. B. Germany. C. Japan. D. New Zealand. This question appeared in Civil Service Prelims Examination 2006. The answer is D, that is New Zealand. A brief explanation of the answer. A carbon tax is a fee intended to make users of fossil fuels pay for climate damage by their fuel use, whereas Sweden, Finland, the Netherlands, and Norway have already introduced. New Zealand in 2005 introduced for the first time a carbon tax to address global warming. That is all for now. Before I sign off, do tune in for my next videos on new topics. Please share this video with your friends and subscribe in large numbers. We request the aspirants to enroll for Prelims cum Mains 2021 and 2022 as well at a very competitive price. We really appreciate your encouragement and constructive suggestions. Thanks.